Greetings duelists and welcome to another video. Earlier today you will probably see a deck report involving my newest iteration of Super Quantums, and that is with Post-Justice Hunters. The theme that I chose, or the engine that I chose to play with the deck, are the Canine cards. And if you're already familiar with Justice Hunters, or you're already up to date with the current trend that is about to happen in the TCG, then you already know that this engine is very important for a lot of decks. The Canine cards are going to change the dynamic of hand traps, and it's going to change the dynamic of how people interact with certain strategies. I won't go too much in depth when it comes to Canine like as a whole. There's a lot of YouTubers who are probably already doing that, and they're probably doing a phenomenal job, probably better than I would. What I am going to do is show you how this engine fixed Super Quantums. Well, not necessarily fixed, but it kind of changes the landscape and the ceiling behind Super Quantums, and how I am way more comfortable with this deck now than I was before this new support. If you guys already saw my first iteration of Super Quantums post Duad, you already saw that I can do a lot of things in this deck. I can play through boards, I can play through a bunch of negates. This deck can now bait hand traps real quick as well. Like, the ceiling of this deck is, I'll say, almost at the level of Malice, which is really weird to say when I'm talking about a deck that's not even tier 1, right? I'm going to show you a 2-card combo. There are probably a lot more combos that you can do involving the Canine cards. And I'm sure that people from the Super Quantum Discord will figure that out, and they'll let me know like as we go along. But for now, I am going to show you a 2-card combo. This combo involves Zayten and Red Layer. And when it comes to Canine, the rest of your hand will dictate how these combos will be performed. Because the really good thing about Canines is that there are hand trap checks. Like, if you have full combo in your hand and you have a way to just like do everything you're doing on your certain combos, but you don't want to get hand trapped, then the Canine cards are good on that regard. That being said, let's begin. So we're going to special summon Super Quantum Red Layer, since we have no current monsters on the board. Since we now control a Super Quantum, we're going to activate Zayten to special summon itself from the hand. Zayten, upon summon, can become level 5. And this is where the explanation that I gave earlier is important. If you already have other ways to combo with the rest of your Quantum cards, then you can just overlay for Ripper immediately with these two. If you don't, or if you just want to check for hand traps and see what your opponent has before you go into your next play, then the play that you will do is you tribute the Zayten, you send Alpha Spike, and your summon for Zayten will be White Layer. Why White Layer? The reason we're summoning White Layer is because White Layer can become level 5 by sending red, but more importantly, White Layer gets us to Alpha. If you already have Alpha in your hand, then instead you will summon another red. And you'll just overlay these two reds into Ripper and then combo off with Alpha. But if we don't have Alpha, you're going to summon White Layer, you're going to use White Layer's effect, you're going to send the second red. Do not activate Red's effect in the graveyard just yet. Now White Layer becomes level 5 because it becomes the level of whatever quantum you send to the graveyard. So now you can grab these two, and now you can overlay for Ripper. With Ripper, you're going to specifically detach White Layer, And depending on the rest of your hand, or depending on what hand traps you want to play around specifically, you can just add any combination of these. Probably not Lupus. Lupus is probably not the one that you want to be adding, and probably Lantern as well. But if you already have Canines in rotation, then these two are could work. So it's most likely these three. I like adding Case of Canine, because if my opponent ends up hand trapping me, this Case of Canine can become Izuna, but if I have another level 5 in my hand, then this Canine case can become the Jokel or the Lantern. So we're adding Case of Canine to our hand. We're gonna move this here a little bit. And because of White Layer being detached, you can add Alphen. So Alphen gets into our hand. Also, depending on what the cards you hit with Alphen, you also can dictate whether or not you can make the Megazord. There are certain combinations of Alphen that will do that. There are combination of cards with Alphen that will not be able to do that. So that's very important to note. These are 5-card hand, so let's pretend that these cards are in here. These are 3 blanks. So now we have 5 cards in our hand. We started with 5, we ended with 5. So now what you're going to do is, you're going to normal summon the Alphen. And you're going to tribute the Alphen. And Alphen's effect is going to show us 3 different combinations. The combination I'll show here are going to be blue, red, and black. We do not show White Layer because White Layer already used both of its effects. Also, I only own one White Layer, but that's besides the case. That's besides the point. So let's see what we get with this result. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll decide with the die roll. We got a 4. So red gets summoned, and blue and black go to graveyard. So what's going to happen here is you're going to grab different cards here. We're going to add White Layer back to our hand because of red. And black is going to add us layer 19. So layer 19 is here in our hand. So now we're at this point. We still haven't used red's effect in the graveyard to special summon yet. So whether or not this red falls into the graveyard will dictate what our next play will be. But let's continue, right? We're going to special summon the White Layer by sending the Red Layer. White already used these other 2 effects. However, red has not used the graveyard effect yet. So what we're going to do here is, with red, we're going to special summon blue. Now we're going to activate layer 19, and layer 19 is going to summon us a quantum that we haven't summoned yet. We could special summon Black Layer if we want. That's probably going to be a play. I was thinking of summoning Green Layer, but we cannot summon Green Layer. And in case people don't know why we cannot summon Green Layer, it's because of Ripper. The way layer 19 is worded is that we cannot special summon quantums that share an attribute with a monster on the field, and not just quantums. Ripper is a wind type monster, which means we cannot summon Green Layer, which is unfortunate. But no fret, because we still have not triggered Black Layer to XYZ summon, and there are no dark monsters on the board, so we can just summon the Black Layer. This goes to graveyard, and now Black Layer can activate its effect to quick XYZ. And depending on what we already have on board, then we can just attach whatever accordingly. We're going to use Magna Liger, and we're going to attach the Red Layer. Now we're going to use Alpha Spike in our graveyard, and we're going to banish the Alpha Spike, and we're going to banish the Alphen, the fairy Alphen. We'll just put this here. That is our banish pile. And that is going to activate the Magna Carrier. We still have a 4-card hand. We're going to use the Magna Carrier and we're going to discard our 2 blank cards. And those will make Lusterex. And it will make the Gramples. Now we're here at this point. We can send the Magna Carrier to the graveyard and we're going to grab all the Quantums. And these will make the Great Magnus. If I'm not mistaken, the Great Magnus has 7 materials. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 materials, which means the Magnus has all of its effects. So we're here at this point. And depending whether or not we got hand trapped, or if we have like other level 5s, you can just go for Case of Canine. This could grab the Izuna, and the Izuna is like a hand trap that you can use on your opponent's turn to just summon and make quick XYZs. If you have a way to summon Lantern, you can go Lantern. Lantern can turn itself into like other cards. You can make IP with it. You can Promethean Princess Climb with it as well. You can do a lot of different things, but more importantly, the Lantern can add us the Forced Canine Release, and this is another interruption with the Ripper. You also have the Ripper to negate hand or graveyard effects as well. And I don't think I need to explain the Floodgate effect of Madness. So yeah, I did this yesterday at my locals. Well, not yesterday, I think it was on Thursday. I did this at Thursday at my locals. I think like 3 times. And the most important part about all this combo that I just did, we were safe from Nibiru from the start because of the Canine Ripper. Before the existence of canines, we didn't have safe ways to get to Madness because we could have been pummeled by hand traps. But now there are safer avenues into Madness, and you don't have to play this as a Madness deck. You can just play the Quantum Engine to just make a lot of other interruptions. The really cool thing about Quantums is that they have the ability to manipulate levels. So you can make Yummies with Quantums. You can make Rhyzial monsters with Quantums. I don't recommend it, but you can. You can make like more rank 5s with the Quantums. Like there is a world where if you want to play stuff like Paradise Smasher, you can do that in this deck. And you can get to the Paradise Smasher easily. You already seen me play this with Malice in the past, so that is another deck that you can do, another hybrid. Yeah, like there's a lot of different things you can do with just the Quantums, but I figured I'd just show you the baseline combo. Again, like there are a lot of other combos besides this one. And I'm sure that people from the Super Quantum Discord are going to like educate me on that. But until then, hope you found this informative to your liking and understanding. Welcome to Justice Hunters format. A lot more coming soon. Keep practicing and keep dueling.